Hello and welcome to yet another educative episode on this channel. Today, we're going to look at questions and answers in the numeracy part of the exam. Specifically, we'll look at past questions and how we can approach numeracy questions in general. The last question, that's question 17, is one of the questions that we anticipate will show up in the upcoming numeracy exam. So, stay with us till the end of the video. Question 1. A teacher organized activities for 3 classes of 24 pupils and 4 classes of 26 pupils. What was the total number of pupils involved? This question involved 2 categories of classes. The first category of classes involved 3 classes of 24 pupils, and the second category is about 4 classes of 26 pupils. To solve this, I will start by analyzing the 3 classes, which involves 24 pupils. So that's here I have class X, class Y, class Z. Each of these classes have 24 pupils. So the total of these classes is 72 pupils. Mind you, each of these classes have 24 pupils, and not all the classes put together have totally 24 pupils, but rather each of them have 24 pupils. The next aspect of the question is the second category, that is 4 classes of 26 pupils. So what we have here is class A having 26 pupils, class B having 26 pupils, class C having 26 pupils, and class D having 26 pupils. Putting all these together, we get 104 pupils. So we have the first aspect of it, which is dealing with 3 classes, each of them having 24 pupils, and the second part dealing with 4 classes, each of them having 26 pupils. To sum this up, we bring the 72 plus the 104 pupils. This gives us 176 pupils. The total number of pupils involved in this activity organized by the teacher is 176 pupils. Question number 2. The angle of elevation of an airplane is 23 degrees and its altitude is 2500 meters. How far away is it? To make this question very easier for me to solve, I'll start by putting this question in a graphical representation so that I'll be able to solve it easily. The question said the angle of elevation of an airplane is 23 degrees and its altitude is 2500 meters. Let's understand that when we talk of altitude is about something that is vertical, or something that is above sea level. So the altitude, which is 2500 meters, will look like this. So it's in a vertical form and it is 2500 meters. Another thing we need to understand is the elevation. When we talk of elevation, is something that is moving upward, rising. So the elevation here is in the form of a line showing like this. This line, we don't know its measurements. At the point, we don't know its measurements. Putting this or joining the dots together will give us a figure like this. Now, let's remember also that they said the angle of elevation. The question said the angle of elevation is 23 degrees. So that is what we have here as 23 degrees. So this is the line, the elevation line, which is linear, and then it's in an upward motion. We don't know the length of this line. And then the angle that is forming with its base is what we know here, that's 23 degrees. So this is the shape that we're able to form from this question. From this shape, we know that this is a right angle triangle. And to solve a right angle triangle, one of the methods we use is either we use a Pythagorean theorem or we use the trig functions. So the trigonometric functions. From this question, we have an angle and a side. Therefore, the easiest way to approach this is to use the trigonometric function known as the sine. If you are not familiar with the trigonometric function and the Pythagorean theorem, there's a link in the description section below. You can click on it and check it out. So I'll go ahead and use the sine function to solve this. The sine function that we're going to use this here is sine theta equal to opposite divided by hypotenuse. From the figure that we have here, the side that is directly opposite the angle 90 degrees, that is the opposite, that is x. And it's very apparent that that is what the question is asking us to look for. Sine theta equals to opposite divided by hypotenuse. We have the theta, while the angle, the 23 degrees, we have it given to us in the question. And also the opposite figure is also located in the question, that's 2500 meters. We have that there. But what we are looking for is hypotenuse. So we indicate that with x. Substituting these values into the equation, into the formula, we have something like this: sine 23 equal to 2500 meters divided by x. Doing a cross multiplication and the division, we are able to get x equals to 2500 meters divided by sine 23. If you go ahead and find the sine of 23 using a calculator, we have 0.39073111285. Dividing 2500 meters by the sine 23, that is 0.39073111285, we get 6398261663. This therefore means that the airplane is 6,398.26 meters away. Question number 3. If x plus 6 divided by x equal to 5, find the value of x squared plus 36 divided by x squared. For this question, we have been given two equations. The first equation can help us get an answer for a variable, and the answer for this variable is what we will use to obtain the answer for the second equation. So the first equation given to us, x plus 6 divided by x equals to 5. We need to solve this. Solving this will give us the value for x. Let's go ahead and solve that. So multiplying both sides by x, we are going to deduce something here. So we have x multiplied by x, x times 6 divided by x, and then here also 5 times x. So we have x squared plus 6 equal to 5x here. X squared here minus 5x, that's bringing this 5 here, plus 6 equal to 0. Solving this quadratically, we have x minus 2 equals to 0, x minus 3 equals 0. So we have the values of x to be 2 and 3. Now, we now have to substitute these figures, each of them, into the formula to test it to see what we will get. So we have substituting x equals to 2. That gives us 2 here, that's 2 squared, because we are putting the value of x, which is 2, into this whole formula. So 2 squared plus 36 divided by 2 squared. That will give us 4 plus 36 divided by 4. And the answer here is 13. Here's an answer. Let's go ahead and substitute the next value, which is x equals to 3, and see what we get. Substituting x equal to 3, we have 3 squared plus 36 divided by 3 squared. And that gives us 9 plus 36 divided by 9. And the answer is also 13. Therefore, it means that x plus 6 divided by x equals 5. And then the value of x will now give us s squared plus 36 divided by s squared as 13. So whether you take 2 or 3, you still get 13. Question number 4. A student was asked to stretch a string to extend its length by 50%. The original length of the string was 30 centimeters. What will be the length of the extended string? From the question, we know the length of the original string, that is 30 centimeters. And also, we also know the length by which the student is supposed to stretch the original string, that is 50%. Now, stretching it by 50% means that the string is already there. Pull it, extend it. Pull it for it to extend by 50% of its original size. Therefore, we have 50% times 30. That gives us 15 centimeters. Now, this is the length of the stretched part, not the string itself, not the whole string. This is the length of the extended part. So the question said we should find the length of the extended string, because the string has been extended. So what is the new length of the string? So that's going to be 30 centimeters plus 15 centimeters, and that gives us 45 centimeters here. Question number 5. A ball is thrown at a speed of 10 meters per second. The ball is thrown at an angle of 35 degrees. Find A, the vertical speed of the ball, and B, the horizontal speed of the ball. First of all, let us analyze this question. The ball is thrown at a speed of 10 meters per second. So I stand here and then I throw a ball. So when I throw it, it moves backwards. The speed that it moves by is what? It moves 10 meters per second. So at each second, it moves 10 meters, or it covers 10 meters. The line will look like this. This is the speed at which the ball moves. And then it is thrown at an angle of 35 degrees. So there's an angle that is made here. The angle at which I throw it is not 90 degrees whereby it goes up. The angle at which the ball is thrown is 35 degrees, that is here. So we have something like this. So the angle is here, 35 degrees. Now we need to find out the vertical speed of the ball. From the figure that we have drawn, we have an angle, and then also we have a side. So this figure here represents a right angled triangle. And to solve a figure similar to this, we can use the Pythagorean theorem, or we can use the trigonometric functions. The perfect way to go with this question is to use the trigonometric function. So we can use the sine function here to solve this, because we have an angle and then also we have a hypotenuse. So all that we need to look for is to get the opposite. We use the sine theta formula. So sine theta equals opposite divided by hypotenuse. You can go ahead and then simplify this formula again by having opposite, since that's what we are looking for, that's x. Opposite equals to hypotenuse times sine theta. Substituting each of these values there, you know that the opposite is x, then we have the hypotenuse, which is 10, and then the theta is 35 degrees. So sine theta itself times the 10, that gives us 5.735 764,364. Since x represent the opposite of this, and then that it also represents the vertical speed, it therefore means that the vertical speed of the ball is 5.74 meters per second. So at each second, the ball covers 5.74 meters. The second part of the question is to find the horizontal speed of the ball. For this also we use a trig function. And for this trig function, we're going to use the cosine. So we lay down the formula: cosine or cos theta equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse. You can still go ahead and simplify this formula, since we are looking for the adjacent. We will have adjacent equals to hypotenuse times cos theta. Now we have all the variables here. We can go ahead and substitute them. Substituting them will give us y equals to 10, which is hypotenuse, times cos theta. The theta is 35. So 10 times cos theta will give us 8.191520443. Since y represents the adjacent and that also represents the horizontal speed of the ball, it therefore means that the horizontal speed of the ball is 8.19 meters per second. This means at each second, or at every second, the ball covers 8.19 meters. Question number 6. John and Joanna are in a contest. The contest involves 6 tests with a mean of 26 as the highest score. At the end of the 5th test, John scored a mean of 24, whilst Joanna scored a mean of 25. What score should John obtain on the final test to get the highest mean? First of all, let's identify the highest score that the question is giving us. The highest score that they need to attain is 26 here. So the highest mean that they need is 26 mean. But at the end of the 5th test, John had already scored a mean of 24. And let's also remember that the question is asking us the score John should obtain on the final test to get the highest mean. So at the moment, we have to pretend as if there's nothing there talking about Joanna, because we don't need anything about Joanna. We are looking for a figure that John will need to attain in order to get the highest mean, and the highest mean is 26. So therefore, let's focus on John. So by the end of the 5th test, John already have 24, a mean of 24, and the number of items that was able to help John to get this mean of 24 is 5. We want to know the sum of all the items, all these 5 tests. When we add them up together, what do we get? We don't know that yet, so you need to find that. Now to find that, we're going to use an average formula, that's the mean. The mean formula is sum of all items divided by number of items. So what we're going to do now is we substitute everything that we have from John into this formula and look for what we don't have. So we have mean, which is 24, and then equal to x, which is sum of all items. That is what we don't know. And then divided by 5, that is the number of items. When we substitute that, and then we do the cross multiplication, we have x to be 120. This means that as at the end of the 5th test, all the 5 tests put together gave John 120 marks. Finding the mean of all these 5 tests put together and then their total gives John a mean of 24. That's what it means. Now let's go ahead and find out the 6th test. As at the final test, what has John accumulated? As at the final test, that's the 6th test, the mean John is supposed to get is 26. We are aware of that because that's the highest mean. The number of items that should give John 26 is 6 items. Also, the sum of all items, everything that John has done put together, should give him a figure. At the moment, we know that all his 5 items come together to give him 120. The sum of that gives him 120. Therefore, the 120 plus a figure or plus the final score should give him the sum of all the items that he needs under the final test. So that is 120 plus y. Likewise, we need to use the mean formula to get the figure that we need for him to get the 26 mean. So substituting all these figures into the mean formula, we have 26 equal to 120 plus y divided by the number of items. 26 is the mean that he needs to get. 120 plus y, that is the sum of all items. The sum of 5 items plus the 6th item divided by the number of items. The number of items here is 6, so this is supposed to be 6. So when we put this in a formula, we have 26 equals to 120 plus y divided by 6. Now doing the necessary cross multiplication, we have 120 plus y equals to 156, and we have y equals 36. This therefore means that John needs to obtain 36 on the final test to get the highest mean. Question 7. Rebecca offered 1/3 of her salary to the children's home and to 5 to the church. What fraction of her salary is left? these are some of the information that we have from the question. We know that the whole salary in a fraction form is 1. So her whole salary in the fraction form is 1. And then the fraction that Rebecca offered to the children's home is 1/3. Also, the fraction that Rebecca offered to the church is 2/5. Therefore, we need to put this together and then subtract it from her whole salary. So we are putting together the fraction offered to the children's home and then the fraction offered to the church, and then we are taking that away from the whole salary, that's the 1, and we have this. So 1 minus 1/3 plus 2/5, and then we have 1 minus 5 plus 6 because 15. Then working this out gives us 1 minus 11 divided by 15, and still going ahead to find the LCM here, we have 15 minus 11 divided by 15, and then the final answer is 4 divided by 15. So this is the final answer. Question number 8. There are 60 pupils in a class. 25% of these pupils were sacked for improper dressing. What percentage of the remaining pupils are girls if 18 of them are boys? What we know from the question is that there are 60 pupils in a class. That is here. We also know that the number of people sacked from the class, or the percentage of people sacked from the class for improper dressing, is 25%. And it's 25% of the total number of people in the class. Hence, we can go ahead and compute that. That's 25% times 60. And that means we have 15 pupils that were sacked out of the class. Now, we also know that the number of remaining pupils. Now, it's easy for us to now get the number of remaining pupils in the class. Number of pupils remaining in the class, we have 60 pupils minus 15. That's 15 were those who were sacked. And the answer is 45 pupils. The question also gave us a clue that the number of boys that are left, that are in the remaining number, is 18. We want to know. So with this also we can know the number of girls that are left in the class. So that is 45 pupils minus 18. Remember, 45 pupils represents the number of pupils that are in the class, that are remaining in the class. So 45 pupils minus 18. 18 represents the number of boys in the class. Therefore, we have 27 as the number of girls in the class. Now, to get the percentage of girls among the remaining pupils, we have 27 divided by 45 times 100. Remember, it's not divided by 60, but it's divided by 45 because we are looking for the percentage of girls among the remaining pupils, not the percentage of girls in the class, or not the percentage of girls in the 60, that's in the 60 pupils, but among the remaining pupils. Therefore, we have 27 divided by 45 times 100, and that gives us 60%. Therefore, 60% of the remaining pupils are girls. Question 9. A football field measures 80 meters by 50 meters. A. What is the perimeter of the football field? And B. If the length of the field is extended by 10 meters, what will be the area of the extended football field? Now, before we solve this question, let's analyze it. Let's put it in a graphical representation form. We have the football field measures 80 meters. So I have my 80 meters here. And then also it's measured by 50 meters. So I have 50 meters here. So this is what I have as the figure. Now closing it up, since this is a football field, definitely all the sides will be closed. So we have something like this. This is a rectangle, so it should be very easy for us to find the perimeter of this football field. So the question said we should find the perimeter of the football field. Now to find the perimeter of a rectangle, what we use is P, that's perimeter, that's equals to 2 times length plus 2 times breadth. In essence, this means that we are adding up everything around this, and this is 80 meters, this is also 80 meters, this is 50 meters, this is also equal to this side, which is 50 meters. So you can decide to add up everything, or you can just take 2 times whatever that is here, meaning 2 times this, and then plus 2 times this. So that's what we have there. So that gives us 2 times 80 plus 2 times 50. 2 times 80 is 160 meters, and 2 times 50 is 100 meters. So putting this together, we have 260 meters. Therefore, the perimeter of the football field is 260 meters. Let's go to the next question. The next question said, if the length of the field is extended by 10 meters. So, meaning the length of this field is extended by 10 meters. So let's see how that will look like. The length is added by 10 meters. It means it's no more 80 meters. It's now more than 80 meters because they've extended the length. What will be the area of the extended football field? So the area of the extended football field. Area of a rectangle is length times breadth. Now the length at the moment is 90 meters, not 80 meters. It's 90 meters because it has been extended by 10 meters. So 80 meters plus the 10 meters gives us the 90 meters plus 50 meters. That's the breadth of it. So the area is 4,500 meters squared. Therefore, the area of the extended football field is 4,500 meters squared. Remember that we are looking for the area, and that is why you have it squared. Question number 10. Find the sum of 3 over 5 plus 1 over 5. This is an easy question. So we'll go ahead and solve this. 3 over 5 plus 1 over 5. To get this, since they all have the same denominator, we shouldn't have any difficulty in solving this. They have the same denominator. Therefore, it means that the denominator will be maintained, and then the numerators will be added, that's 3 plus 1. Question number 11. Find the next two terms in the pattern 6, 12, 18. To find the next term in this pattern, that's what we need to know the difference between the first term and the second term. Or we have to know the two terms following each other. So to do that, we take the second term and then we subtract the first term from it. Meaning that we have 12 minus 6, or you can take 18 minus 12. What we have, the difference is 6. Now that we have that, we can now form an equation from this. And the equation will look like this. Next term, that is y, because current term, which is x plus 6. Now to test this, I'll use the third number. We have y equals x plus 6. Remember we said next term, y is the next term, representing next term. So that's what we are looking for. So in this scenario, we assume the number 18 is what we are looking for. So just to test our formula. So we have y equals to 12, which is the current term. 12 plus 6, that gives us 18. Hence we can go ahead and implement that for the next one. So we can now look for y equals x plus 6, and y is what we are looking for, and the current term is 18 now. It's 18, and adding 6 to it will give us 24. Can do that for the last one. So we have y equals x plus 6, and we have y, that's what we are looking for, 24 plus 6. 24 is the current term, that is here, what we obtain here, plus 6, that is 30. So we have 30 here, that's the last term. Therefore, the answer is 24 and 30. Question number 12. What is the LCM of 15, 6, and 10? The question is asking of LCM, and the LCM is least common multiple of a number. The question is asking of the least common multiple of 15, 6, and 10. The number is just, and this is very clear. We are looking for the least common multiple. So what we need to do now is to put out the multiples of 15, the multiples of 6, and the multiples of 10. When we put out these multiples, then we'll be able to identify the least common multiples among them. So we'll start by listing the multiples of 15. So we have 15 times 1, that is 15. 15 times 2, that is 30. 15 times 3, that is 45. 15 times 4, that is 60. 15 times 5, that is 70. 15 times 6, that is 90, and so on and so forth. But I'll stop here. And then also we look for the multiples of 6. So the multiples of 6 we have here: 6 times 1, that is 6. 6 times 2, that is 12. 6 times 3, that is 18. 6 times 4, that is 24. 6 times 5, that is 30. 6 times 6, that is 36. 6 times 7, 42. And then 6 times 8, 48. So that's what we have here. And then also we list the multiples of 10. 10 times 1, that is 10. 10 times 2, 20. 10 times 3, 30. 10 times 4, 40. 10 times 5, 50. And 10 times 6, 60. And so on and so forth. Now from these, we have to look for the number that is common in each of them. So 15 is here, it's not here, and it's not here. 30 is here, it's here, and then also is here. So that is the least number that is common among all these three numbers. So that is the least common multiple of 15, 6, and 10. So therefore the LCM of 15, 6, and 10 is 30. Question number 13. A boy used 2/3 of his weekly savings to buy a textbook. If he realized that he has 10 cedis, how much was the weekly savings? This is an easy question as well. All the information that we know about the boy and his weekly savings is here. The weekly savings itself, you don't know it. But the fraction that he used to buy the textbooks is 2/3 of his weekly savings. And then also the balance that he realized that he's having is 10 cedis. So therefore, we need to form a formula from this, or an equation from this. You know very well that his weekly savings is the same as his textbook cost plus his balance. So putting the textbook cost and the balance together should be the same as his weekly savings. So go ahead and form the formula. His weekly savings, we don't know that is x. And then 2/3 of x, that is 2/3 of his weekly savings is what he spends on the book. And then plus the 10 cedis balance. That's what we have here. Now multiplying through by 3, we have 3x equals to 2x plus 30. Moving the 2 to this side, we have x equals 30. Therefore means that the boy's weekly savings is 30 cedis. Question number 14. If 9 plus x equals 24, then x is 33. To get this, we all need to do is to solve for the value of x. So we have 9 plus x equals 24. Doing the necessary grouping of like terms, we have x, that's moving this to this side. We have x equals 24 minus 9. That is moving 9 to this other side. So we have x to be 15. This means that x is not 33. So since x is not 33, meaning the statement is false. Question number 15. Some pages in a book on a bookshelf are missing. Due to this, page 21 is now followed immediately by page 43. How many pages are missing? For this question, I will go ahead and do it the hard way, because I've seen most people make a mistake by taking the 43 and subtracting the 21 from it. And when you do that, we are getting an answer of 22. So what I have decided to do is to list out the missing pages. Alright, so the missing pages we have, the question specifically said page 21 is now followed immediately by page 43. So meaning there's page 21 available in the book, and also there's page 43 in the book. What is missing is between 21 and 43. So we have page 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. These are the missing pages. Now if you count the missing pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. So it means the missing pages are 21. So we have 21 pages missing from the book, and the answer is 21 pages. Question number 16. A school hired a bus for an excursion. They were charged 500 cedis deposit plus 4 cedis for every kilometer covered by the bus. If at the end of the excursion they paid a total of 1,260 Ghana cedis for the use of the bus, calculate the total distance covered by the bus. The information related to the bus and everything that is in the question relating to the bus is here. We have total distance covered is what we are looking for. That is what the question is. So question from us. The deposit that is made is 500 cedis. We are aware of that. Each distance that is covered is 4 cedis. We are aware of that. Cost of the total distance covered, we don't know that. But we know that every distance that we have covered is 4 cedis. And we are looking for the total distance covered, which is represented as x. Therefore, the cost of the total distance covered is now going to be 4 times the total distance covered. So that's why we have 4x. The total amount paid is 1,260 Ghana cedis. The equation we can form now is that the total amount covered equals to deposit plus cost of total distance covered. I think we can all agree with this, that the deposit plus the cost of total distance covered is the same as the total amount paid. Now, we don't know the total distance is covered, so it's difficult for us to determine the cost of total distance covered. So that's what we need to solve for. So we have total amount, that's equals deposit plus cost of total distance covered. Now, the total amount is 1,260, that's from the question. And then the deposit, that's 500. And then also the cost of the total distance covered, that is 4 times x, that is 4 cedis per each kilometer covered. And then x representing the total distance covered. So doing the necessary calculation, that's with grouping the like terms, we are able to get x equals 190 kilometers. Therefore, the total distance covered by the bus is 190 kilometers. Question number 17. Consider the figure below. So we have this figure. you calculate the length of line BC, and then also you find the area of AEB. Then you also look for the perimeter of the rectangle ABCD. To calculate the length of this, first of all, we need to factor out line BC. Where is it located? Line BC is located here. Hence, we are going to take out this side of the shape out. This gives us a right angle triangle. And let's also remember that we are looking for line BC, which is the same as line AD. Hence, the figure for line AD is the same as the figure for line BC. But unfortunately, the figure contains a variable in it. Also, we know that from E to C is the same as D to E. And the whole of this line is 6 centimeters. That's what we have from here. So it therefore means that D to C is 6 centimeters, and half of it is 3 centimeters. That is what we have here. So E to C is 3 centimeters. Now with all this out of the way, then we can go ahead and now solve for our line BC. Now this, as I said earlier, is a right angled triangle. To solve for this, we need to use either a Pythagoras theorem or a trigonometric function. As I said earlier, if you are not conversant with trig function or the Pythagorean theorem, there's a link in the description section below where you can take a look at one of our videos where we talk about trig functions and then the Pythagorean theorem. For this question, we have all the sides given to us and we don't have the angle. Therefore, the best and the easiest way to go is to use the Pythagorean theorem. The theorem is that hypotenuse squared is the same as opposite squared plus adjacent squared. The hypotenuse we have in this question is BE. So BE is the hypotenuse. The opposite we have is BC. And then the adjacent we have here is EC. So in essence, the question is asking us to look for the opposite of this particular shape. So therefore we continue to substitute this into the formula, the Pythagorean formula. So hypotenuse, which is here, which is x minus 1, is going to be substituted here. So that's what we have here. X minus 1 all squared equals to 2x minus 8. That is the opposite, all squared, plus 3 squared. That is the adjacent. Grouping the like terms and doing the necessary calculations, so we have 3x squared minus 30x plus 72 equals 0. And also dividing through by 3 to its simplest form, putting this in its simplest form, we have x squared minus 10x plus 24 equals 0. So when we look for the two values that can be substituted here, we have 4 and 6. That is 4 and 6 will give us 10, and then when they are multiplied, they will give us 24. So that's why we use 4 and 6. So x minus 4 equals 0, and that gives us x equals 4. X minus 6 equals 0, that gives us x equals 6. Now, upon all these calculations, we're still not finished. The question is to find the length of line BC. That is the opposite. So therefore, we need to substitute the figure, this figure here, in here, and for us to get the value of line BC. Hence, if we substitute x equals 4, that is this figure here, x equals 4, then line BC is going to be 2 times 4 minus 8, and that will be 0 centimeters. We go ahead and substitute x equals 6, then that will mean line BC is 2 times 6 minus 8, and that will give us 4 centimeters. Therefore, the answer is 4 centimeters because this is a natural number, not 0 centimeters. Hence, you should use the figure x. If we are to calculate the area of this, we have to use the figure, we have to use the value for x equals 6 to replace each of the values here, each of these variables, not x equals 4. That will give us 0. So therefore, the length of line BC is 4 centimeters. Let's go to the next question. The next question is for us to find the area of figure AEB. Taking the figure AEB out this is what we have, AEB. Now remember also that this line here is here x minus 1 and this line is 6 centimeters. So this is a triangle, and to find the area of a triangle we use the formula half of the base times height. Where is the base? The base is the 6 centimeters. So when we flip this back correctly, we have the base as 6 centimeters. So half of this base times height, and the height is here. Now remember that the height is 4 centimeters. The height is the same as what we calculated from the previous question, or from the option question E. So that is 4 centimeters. Remember, that is the vertical line, that is the opposite line that we just look for. So that is 4 centimeters. So therefore means that the area is half of 6, that is base, times 4, and the answer is 12 centimeters squared. Let's move to the next question. The next question is, what is the perimeter of the rectangle ABCD? The perimeter of this rectangle is 2 times 6 plus 2 times 4. Remember that we have calculated for line AD, that is 4. That is the first working that we did. So that is 4. So therefore we can substitute the numbers in, and then we should be able to get our perimeter. So the perimeter of rectangle ABCD is 20 centimeters.